Welcome back to my channel, Running in Rehab. My name is Brett. I'm a 234 marathoner and I'm a third year physical therapy student. Now today I want to talk to you, for those of you training for the marathon, and I want to talk to you specifically about incorporating a long run into your, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly. You need to be able to assess your own fitness and strength and see where you're at. You could always do something that's called like a mid long run, something that's a little bit more conservative. But let's talk about the importance of doing a long run. If you're training for the marathon, the long run is going to be the best way for you to simulate what the race is going to be like. Now, whether you've done a marathon or haven't done a marathon, the marathon is a whole different beast. Let's just say it like that. It's a whole different beast than the half marathon. And there's nothing in between, really. I mean, I guess there are some 18 milers, but not very popularized. So if you're going for the marathon, you really need to try to simulate what the marathon is going to be like in your training. So you need to be doing runs up to 18 miles long, runs up to 20 miles long, maybe even up to 21 or 22 miles. You do not need to go the full 26-mile distance. The race day energy, the taper that you're going to do, you're going to be able to get that last little bit in the marathon. But you want to simulate what it's like to be running, for the duration of time that you're expected to do your marathon in. So let's say you're expecting you're going to run your marathon in 4 hours. You should be going on some runs that are of a time duration pretty close to that 4 hours to simulate that time on feet, running for that amount of time. So for me, I just did a 20-mile long run. You want to do like 18 to 20 miles. And you want to do this when you're ready. So let's say like you want to be like kind of peaking or at your top fitness level, let's say 6 to 7 weeks out from your marathon is when you want to start to incorporate these longer distance runs. Now, with that being said, as you may or may not know, the number one thing to avoid in marathon training is injury. Let me say that again. The number one thing to avoid in marathon training is injury, especially with the cost of these marathons. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous, but we're spending a couple $100s on these marathons. We want to run a good time. We want to get to that start line, right? And we want to feel as healthy and as fresh as we can. So that's got to be the number one thing. Work with a coach, talk with me, evaluate for yourself where your strength is at, where you feel that your long run should be right now. So let's say maybe you're 10 or 15 weeks out. Maybe your long run is only 8 to 10 miles right now, right? And that's going to slowly progress each week or every 2 weeks. You're going to try to progress that up 2 or 3 miles so that, like I said, by week 6 or 7, you're starting to do the 18 to 20 mile long runs. And ideally, you're doing that every week until you're about 3 weeks out. So maybe you do that for 3 or 4 weeks. Try to simulate what the marathon is going to be like. Get your body ready to handle those kinds of stresses. Okay, now with the long run, take breaks as you need. So maybe you split your long run into, maybe it's at 8 mile and then water, rest for a minute or two, and then do another 8 miles. Or maybe it's, maybe you do a little bit of a race pace for a mile and then kind of a faster paced jog, like an interval kind of long run. Could be another good idea just to get your body stronger safely. Most of you guys, I can tell you, because I'm guilty of this too, you guys are running too fast. It's not sustainable long term. It's way too high risk. And not that I see too many runners out when I run, but you could tell that some people are just going Every run is aggressive, and I can tell you why this likely happens because like I said, I'm guilty of this too. Maybe it's a time constraint, right? You don't have the time, you're just trying to get the mileage in. Like I said, it's not a good long-term strategy, so um, you got to prioritize the running, and you gotta um, work some easier days in, some easier miles, because running slowly has a majority of benefits, right? A lot of benefits to just running slowly. Running slowly can actually help your body to recover because you're not stressing the tissues quite as much, and you're just promoting circulation, getting the blood to flow, getting the tissues to heal. Um, you're working on more of your aerobic system, right? How your body utilizes oxygen when you go slowly. You're working on your gait, right? Your mechanics. You're thinking about precision of your movement, right? Precision of your running mechanics. Like I said, I see too many people out there running too hard. Their mechanics are off. They're all out of control. They're going to get injured. It's okay to do that once, twice a week, right? Maybe not in your full run. Maybe you're doing intervals of all out of control, maybe a mile interval, and then you're slowing down, and then you're resetting. So it is okay to do those, the sprint work and the hard efforts, but you have to complement 60 to 70%, minimum 60% of your training should be relatively easy. We'll call it zone 2 or heart rate under 140, 150, depending on your age. Very moderate, can hold a conversation type effort. Super, super important. If you look at the Kenyans, the top runners, like John Career, he's on Strava, so you can follow him and take a look at his runs. He's doing like a longer run, maybe once every week or once every 2 weeks of 9:30 pace for about 10 or 15 miles. And this is a guy who runs 4:30 pace for the marathon, 4:40 pace for the marathon. He's won recently a few of the big name marathons. So I know he's won Boston, New York, Chicago. You have to fact check me, but John Career's won some of the major marathons. He's maybe the fastest marathoner in the game right now. So we can take some notes from him. But yeah, simulate the marathon. Like I said, these marathons are expensive. Maybe you have some people coming to support you. You want to do well. You want to simulate what it's going to be like. All right, but keep in mind you're training right now, right? You're not fresh, and on marathon day, ideally you're going to be fresh. So factor that in as well, right? So if you can go 20 miles and you can incorporate some of those your goal race pace in there, and you're on tired legs, that's a good indication that you're going to be ready for the marathon on fresh legs, right? With crowd support, with race day, with all the other runners around, and that's going to push you. Adrenaline and those emotions and that energy is going to push you to the 26. So you don't need to push marathon effort for 26 miles in training. Definitely not. But 18 miles, 18, 20 miles, the long run is very important, but it can be a little bit high risk. So listen to your body, prep for the long runs like you would almost prep for your race without doing a full taper of 2 weeks. But do some prep. Make sure you're getting fluids in, water, electrolytes, carbs, and be safe. Be safe. Overall, be safe. Let's get to the start line. Let's have fun. Let's crush these races. Let's crush the marathon. As you guys all know, there's a lot to learn from the marathon about yourself. And it's an awesome experience. When you put in this training and you do it right and you run a great marathon, and it's a heck of an achievement, and you learn a lot about yourself, and um, you gain a whole new sense of gratitude towards yourself, your life, and you take that work ethic into any aspect of your life. So let's get into some of these marathons. Let's train for them the right way. Let's get stronger, not injured. Let's get stronger. Let's get healthier. Let's stay stronger. Let's stay healthier. I'm here for you guys. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.